Guys, welcome to another video here on the channel. Montel Gordon here. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. In today's video, what I'm going to jump into is how to actually get better at cold emails. Cold emails have been really effective for me throughout this year. For the last 8 months now or something like that, I've been testing out cold emails. Firstly, I didn't really know what I was doing, if I'm being honest with you. You are going to suck at cold emails when you first get started. You're going to hate them. They're never going to work. You're just going to burn out your domains if you don't listen to me. And you're just going to have an overall shitty experience with cold emails if you don't watch this video. So there's no point complaining about cold emails and you being, sucky at them. Just because you're not good at them doesn't mean cold emails doesn't work. You need to figure out cold emails because it's going to be a great way for you to, land meetings, close clients, all of that stuff, especially when you're going after clients that you really want to work with. With that being said, guys, I'm actually going to show you in this video how you can actually get better at cold emails and what you should actually do in terms of split testing, what you should be split testing, what metrics you should actually use, how to actually do all this, how to track, all that sort of stuff. Because again, like I said, there's no point if you're rubbish at something with the same breath, the same energy takes you to say, oh, cold email sucks, I really hate cold emails, and you're complaining about it. With that same energy, you could literally just focus on saying, instead, I'm obviously doing something wrong, I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong, let me go figure out what I'm doing wrong and split test and actually get better at this, because this is going to be a really great video for you guys and a really great way to actually close clients and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to do, guys, and I'm going to keep this video short, and before I get into this, guys, as well, make sure you do me a favor and drop a like, comment and subscribe if you're new around here. Also make sure you turn on a little notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. It really does help me out here on the channel and shows me whether or not these videos are useful for you guys. So with that being said, guys, the first thing you want to do is, when it comes to sending cold emails, never ever send a cold email using a Gmail. Gmails are montelgordon@gmail.com. So guys, what you want to do is actually go and buy a domain from googledomains.com. I recommend you go and buy them from googledomains.com. The reason being is because I believe it's actually domains.google.com, so excuse me on that. So the reason why I say go buy a domain is because you're going to look much more professional. So that's step number one. Now, when it comes to buying domains, like I say all the time on this channel, you want to buy 2 domains. If you already have a website domain, don't use that for cold emails. You're going to ruin your website domain. You actually want to go and buy what you call a burner email. So for example, if your agency name is abcmedia.com and that's your actual website, you want to go and register abcmedia.net. That's a different domain. So guys, if I have a website and my agency name is abcmedia.com and that's where my website is, I would not use the email address montel@abcmedia.com. I would use montel@abcmedia.net. I would not use CEO@abcmedia.com because that's literally just the same domain as my website, but just with a different alias at the beginning. The alias is the bit that comes before the @ sign. So that's what you call the alias. So don't use a different alias. You actually want to get a different domain. Now what you want to do is warm up your domain. You can use Lemlist or just literally type into Google how to warm up a domain, or even email domain warming up services, and you'll literally find one for like $9. I forgot what it's called, but you'll find it. So that's 2 things you want to do. Then what you want to do is make sure you set up your deliverability so that it's it's at its max. Deliverability is more important than everything else, because if your email doesn't even get delivered, there's no point worrying about your open rates, reply rates, none of that. It doesn't actually even matter, because if your emails are going to spam, it just doesn't matter. So guys, the next step when it comes to actually sending out emails, before you send out your emails, what you want to do is set up your records. So the records you have are your SPF record, which should already be set up if you're already, if you bought your domain through Google, your SPF record will be set up. You then want to set up your DKIM record and your DMARC record. Those are the 3 records you basically want to set up with your email. They ensure maximum deliverability. So then what you want to do is make sure whenever you send an email, you personalize the first line, the very first line. You don't need to personalize the whole entire email. I don't believe that's necessary. It's going to take you a long time, because there is like a kind of like line between going too personal and not enough volume, then not enough personalization, and then lots of volume, because that just looks spammy. If you go this route where you're not personalizing but you're doing lots of volume, you're just going to end up with spam. If you're over here on the other side where you're writing these custom emails for everybody, first and foremost, most people don't read long emails, they just delete them straight away. And second of all, you're not going to get enough volume in when it comes to your emails, because you need volume, you need data to actually be split testing that. So the first thing you want to do when it comes to actually, before you even send out an email, you want to warm it up, personalize all your first lines and stuff like that. I actually have an Excel sheet where I have leads in there and I personalize the first lines. Well, I have a personalized first line, right? I do that and I check them and I just have them stored in like an Excel sheet. And what I do is I keep them there, and what I do is I make sure that my domain's warmed up. And this is when I'm first starting. I will make sure my domain's warmed up, make sure the personalized first lines are there. Then what I do is I determine what a successful campaign would look like. I then create a Google Sheet. So a Google Sheet, that's completely free when you buy a domain. So go to Google Sheets, and then what you want to do is test subject lines first. So what you want to do, guys, when it comes to sending emails is first and foremost determine what a successful campaign actually looks like. Now, here's what I have, and it's going to be different to you. It's going to be different from everyone else. But for me, here's what I have on my piece of paper right here. So when it comes to email open rates, I want at least a 70% open rate. That's a great open rate to achieve, and it's very easy to achieve that. This is probably the easiest thing to actually split test, and it's the first thing you should actually split test. We'll be talking about split test in a second, because that's how you really get good at cold emails. Then when it comes to your reply rate, what you want to do is make sure you have at least a 15% reply rate. I would prefer if you have a 20 to 25% reply rate, but that's if you're really, really good at cold emails. I haven't got to 25% reply rate yet. I mean, I got it on a couple of campaigns, but it's not consistent. I've got a 45%, I think it's actually 44% reply rate. But like I said, guys, I've not got that consistently. Right now, my reply rates are around 15%. So I recommend you get at least a 15% reply rate. The reason being is because if you send 100 emails out, 15 people reply to that, maybe 5 of them out of those 15 replies are actually positive. Out of those 5 positive replies, you can then have conversations with them, and then only maybe 2 get on a call and actually show up. Maybe even all 5 book a call, but only 2 of them probably will show up, because there's always a drop-off rate. And then out of those 2 calls, you can probably close maybe 1, maybe none. You may have a 1 in 5 close rate, for example, or 1 in 10 close rate, whatever it is. Once you figure out how many emails it takes you to actually get somebody on the call, you can then figure out what your close rate is, and then all you have to do is now just, you know, replicate that and push more numbers in. But before you can even get there, this is where these metrics come in. You need at least a 70% open rate. I recommend 70% open rate, 15% reply rate. When it comes to your clicks, as in like what's your click percentage, it should be 0. The reason why it should be 0 is because you do not want to put links in your emails, because what's going to happen is, as soon as I see an email, and think about it yourself, as soon as you see an email, even, you know, don't matter how personalized it is, if you see an email with some sort of link on there to book in a call, you just know straight away that that's a commercial email. They're trying to sell you on something. So you just delete that straight away. Most of the time, I just don't even reply to them. I open them, I don't even reply to them. So I don't actually put any links in my emails. Now, most of you are thinking, what do you mean? Aren't we supposed to be linking to case studies or sending Loom videos or anything like that? I don't do that, guys. What I do is, whenever I buy a domain, I reroute it to a landing page. So whenever I send an email from what you call a burner account, these are accounts that I don't really care. For example, Montel at ecomwave.com, for example, is one of my burner accounts. When somebody gets an email from me and they spark interest, the first thing people do anyway is they're going to go and they're going to take a look at my email address, and they're going to take the back end of my email address, which is ecomwave.com. They're going to plug that into Google, press enter, and that's going to load up my landing page so they can see all like the results and stuff like that, and actually go into my case study funnel and stuff like that. So when you spark interest anyway, guys, they're going to take your email address, take the back end of it, your .com or your .net or whatever it is, and they're gonna throw it into Google anyway and land on your website. So I don't recommend you put any links, especially your initial email. Maybe on the second email, maybe the third. I don't really recommend it though in any of them. I actually don't put it in any of them until somebody responds back to me. And again, I don't want my emails going to spam. And when you put links in there, Google's filters actually just automatically kind of like triggers the spam stuff. And if you're sending lots of emails, you can easily just kill your domain and you have to buy a new one. So that's what you want to do for metrics. Now, the last metric is your bounce rate. This should be below 5%. You need to at least be sending emails that are verified emails. I recommend you use Neverbounce to actually verify your emails. Neverbounce is a free tool. Well, it's not a free tool. You actually get a free trial, but you get like 1,000 credits, I believe it is. Well, at the time of recording this, you get like 1,000 free credits, and 1 credit allows you to verify 1 email address, I believe it is. Yeah, it actually is. 1 credit is to verify 1 email. So what you do is you take a bunch of emails, up to 10 at a time on a free plan, and you throw it into Neverbounce, and it shows you whose email address is verified. Yes, you have to do all of this work before sending the emails. I know it's tedious, but you have to make sure that your emails are verified and they're actual valid emails before you send them out, because you're just going to end up in a spam folder if you don't do this, and your email is going to get a bad reputation, and you're going to have to delete that email or just get rid of it and then buy a new one, and it gets a little bit messy. Even though they're burner accounts and we don't really care about them, still it's better to kind of have a burner account running for longer than it is shorter, if you get what I mean. It's going to save you more money in the long run. So guys, now when it comes to the methods of actually split testing your emails, what you want to do is break your emails down into kind of like the sections of the email. So think about an email. First of all, you have a subject line. Then you have the below that you actually have the body. So the subject line is the first thing you want to test. This is the thing with testing cold emails. You only want to test one thing at a time. I'm talking literally one line at a time. I only test one line at a time, so I know exactly where my results are coming from. So here's what I mean. If you have 100 leads in your list in your Google Sheets, and they all have personalized first lines, that's great. What you want to do now is, if you don't know any sort of winning subject lines, pick maybe 2 subject lines that you've come across. Maybe quick question is one of them, or quick Q is another one. Those are 2 quick subject lines. So quick question question, as in the full word, and then quick Q, you can actually split test to see which one's best. Or even you could say something like question about, and then actually insert their company name. So there's a couple of subject lines you can actually split test. This is the easiest bit of the thing of this whole thing though. So what I recommend you do is just split your 100 leads into 50 and 50. And what you do is you send them the same body email with the same call to action, with the same angle in there, but with a different subject line. So the first 50 get subject line A, which is maybe quick Q. Then the second subject line would be question about, and then you actually insert the company's name. So question about Apple, for example. So that would be 2 different split tests. Now what you do is you let that run, and then what you do is you see which one gets the best open rate. And if they both get over 70% open rate, of course, then you know that both of them are good subject lines to use. But what you do is you always take the best open rate. So if one's got 71% open rate and one's got 75% open rate, obviously common sense would say you take the 75%, the one with 75%. And all you have to do is once you find a winning subject line, you can keep that pretty much forever, as long as it doesn't start dwindling out. Maybe replace it every 6 months or something like that. But once you found that, you go on to the next optimization step, which is your reply rate. This is the most important bit, and your reply rate comes from your angles and your call to action. So your call to action is obviously the bottom bit of the email, which should be, are you free sometime this week or next week for a quick 15-minute chat? That's one particular call to action. Another call to action would be, would it be okay if I sent over a quick video detailing exactly what I've mentioned in this email with a question mark at the end? That would be obviously a Loom CTA. So those are your CTAs. Right now, what I would do if I was you is I would isolate one CTA and keep it the same for the next couple hundred emails. So what I mean by that is if you're going to be asking for a call, which I recommend you do at the very beginning, because Loom videos kind of get a little bit messy if you don't have great systems. So I would actually just stick to your actual CTA being a quick 15-minute call or something on the lines of call. And the way you word it is special as well. So instead of saying quick 15-minute call, you could say, are you available for a growth demo analysis call or something like that? That has a higher perceived value. You want to kind of keep your CTA the same. The way you increase your reply rate is through your angles. So if we break down a cold email, so we've got the subject line. Then below that, we have the actual body. Now the body can be broken down into a couple of parts. So we've got the subject line, we found that, which is cool. We kind of keep that to the side and we just continuously reuse that subject line. Now what we want to do is break the email body down into 4 parts, maybe 5 parts, something like that. So you've got, first of all, your personalized first line. That doesn't really stay the same because each personalized first line is going to be very, very personalized to that person, but you can keep the format the same in terms of what you're putting in and how you're actually writing the personalized first lines. Keep that the same. Then what you're going to do is have like a 1-sentence case study saying that you've helped this business go from X to Y in a certain time frame. Now you're looking to help them do the same. Then you have your call to action. Then you have your call to action. Then you can have like a PS line. A PS line is like, oh, by the way, I also love your green jumper, your new green jumper collection that you've just released or something like that. That would be a PS line. I wouldn't mess around with PS lines right now. I would just get the basics down first. So that the last part of your email would be your signature. So again, the 4 parts are personalized first line, your 1-sentence case study, then it would be a call to action, and then it would be your subject line. So those are the 4 parts. Now that you broke it into 4 parts, all you have to do is continuously split test pretty much these 3, to be honest with you. In fact, the subject line stays the same. I mean, your signature stays the same. So all you have to do now is figure out the angle. The angle basically is your 1-sentence case study. If you don't have a 1-sentence case study, this gets really easy. So if you have only one case study, you can just continuously, you're gonna have to continuously use that 1-sentence case study over and over and over again. Your angle then changes. So your angle would be, is it okay would it be cool if we jumped on a demo analysis call? That would be kind of like a angle. Another angle could be something like on the lines of, based on what I've seen on your particular store, I believe we could do this for you, that for you, and this for you, and obviously try to make this personalized as well. But guys, look, your angle is actually derived from not the personalized first line. It's kind of derived from your 1-sentence case study, your call to action. So those 2 things in between. So I guess if I kind of leave it like this, it's kind of easy for you to visualize. Subject line completed, so that goes behind your personalized first line. This pretty much stays the same. Now we have your this down here would be like your signature at the email. This right here would be your signature. So now all we've got is a 1-sentence case study, and we've got a call to action. So these 2 make up your angle inside your email. So hopefully that kind of helps you visualize it without jumping on my computer. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So those are the things that you want to split test until you get a 15% reply rate. You have to continuously change 1 line at a time, 1 thing at a time. So one of these 5 parts, I guess, you only change 1 of them at a time. So your signature and subject line pretty much stay the same. Your personalized first line pretty much stays the same. So it's out of these 2 things that which are your 1-sentence case study leading into the call to action, and what you put in kind of in between that to kind of boost yourself. even, you know, put a differentiating line in there, such as we don't charge you until we get X result, or we offer this guarantee so you can't lose money with us. That would be an angle, for example. The angle is basically what you're offering them. Angles could even be your split testing between offering them Facebook ads versus Google ads, or Facebook ads versus email if you're doing like initial, what you call business validation research. So guys, that's just to keep in mind. That's how you really become good at emails. Change one thing at a time and stick to the numbers, track the numbers. So you want to track how many you sent, how many was opened, how many people replied, and how many calls you jumped on, and how many of those calls you then closed. So that's how you track everything down to a T, and you use Google Sheets to do this. I also recommend you use Lemlist for this as well, because it shows you your open rate, your reply rate, your bounce rate, your click rate, all of that. So you can actually just take those numbers and plug it into your Google Sheet and actually have your numbers based upon each campaign. So you want to create multiple campaigns. And this, guys, is not an easy thing. It's not going to be one of those things that you can do in a week. Probably going to take you at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, something like that. But when you master it, you can actually set, 2 to 4 meetings a week, like I've been doing. If you haven't seen that video, go and take a look at it now. But guys, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you can see how to split test emails now. So with that being said, go out there, go kill it with your emails, go test some stuff and see what the results are. It's all about testing. You never know what's going to work, so just test it anyway. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.